Tuesday morning, March 17, 2026. Buddha Dhamma, compiled by Somdit Prat Bhutta Gosacharya. English name, P.A. Payutto. We're in part 3 of chapter 18.4, sammā-samādhi, right concentration. And this is the last part of sammā-samādhi. We previously covered in chapter 18.4, Buddha Dhamma, part 1, the definitions of what samadhi is, the level of the different concentrations, the adversaries through confrontations. In part 2, we covered the attributes of a concentrated mind, the general objectives and benefits of concentration. And finally, today in part 3, from page 1784 to page 1790, we are going to read the aims and benefits of the different kinds of concentration meditation and preventing misunderstandings about the aims of benefits of concentration. 18.4, page 1784. Aims and benefits of different kinds of concentrated meditation. In the Tipitaka, the Pali Canon contains the summary of the aims of concentration. Monks, bhikkhu, there are these 4 developments of concentration. The first one, the development of concentration, samadhi or samadhi, cultivated and deepened, that is conductive to dwelling happily in the present. Ditta Dhamma Sukha Vihara, the development of concentration, cultivated and deepened, that is conductive to dwelling happily in the present moment. The second one is the development of concentration, cultivated, deepened, and conductive to knowledge and vision. The third is the development of concentration, cultivated, deepened, that is conductive to sati, mindfulness, and clear comprehension, sambojana. The fourth is the development of concentration, cultivated, deepened, and conductive to the end of all the mental taints, all the elimination of the asavas, the mental taints. The first development, Ditta Dhamma Sukha Vihara, dwelling happily in the present moment. In the Tipitaka, the Pali Canon explains these 4 fine meditation absorptions of jhana. This refers to the development of jhanas as one way of experiencing happiness, corresponding to the teaching of the levels, on the 10 levels of happiness. From coarse to refined, these levels are sensual pleasures, bliss in the 4 stages of the fine material jhana, bliss in the 4 stages of the immaterial jhana. It is noteworthy that it has the positive and the negative aspects of jhana. So we have the 4 fine materials and then the 4 non-fine materials. Bliss in the attainment of cessation, nirodha samapatti. Gautama Buddha and the Arihats develop the jhanas when they are not engaged in other activities. For ease and relaxation, abiding at ease in the present, Ditta Dhamma Sukha Vihara. Development of concentration, development 2, in the Tipitaka, explains that meditation on perception of light, lokha sanya, by establishing the perception, it is a day, ditva sanya, irrespective of whether it is day or night. with a bright, spacious mind, unencumbered by hindrances. The commentary says that knowledge and vision, nana dasana, here refers to the divine eye, which they claim to be the apex of the 5 mundane higher psychic attainments. Noteworthy that in some places the commentaries claim that the single word nana dasana refers to all the fine mundane higher psychic attainments. This benefit thus refers to the application of concentration in order to generate special psychic attainments and powers. The third development, paying attention to and thoroughly knowing thoughts and feelings which arise and pass away in one's daily life. In the Tipitaka, the Pali Canon explains that this is knowing clearly the sensation, vedana, perceptions, knowing clearly, sanya, and knowing clearly the thoughts, vitaka, which arises, are established, and pass away. Finally, in the development number 4, in the Tipitaka, the Pali Canon explains that the possession of panya, of wisdom, of constantly discerning and arising and ceasing the 5 groups of upatana, clinging or grasping, to reflect in the following ways. The body is this way. The arising of the body is this way. The decline of the body is this way. Similarly, they do the same thing with everything else, like feeling, perception, volitional formation, and consciousness, with all the 5 groups of the skandhas, or the aggregates. Generally speaking, you see, this refers to applying concentration to assist wisdom, to act as a support or a foundation for the development of insight, in order to realize the supreme goal, knowledge of the destruction of all the asavas, the mental impurities, knowledge of liberation. According to the commentaries, the first and the second developments pertain to samatha meditation technique, or tranquility or calm, while the third and the fourth developments pertain to insight meditation, which is vipassana. Although not specifically mentioned in this canonical passage, the other benefits of concentration mentioned earlier are obtained while developing the 4 ways of concentration. Commentaries provide similar summary of benefits and developing concentration. In the Visuddhi Magga, compiled by Prabhuta Gosa, outlines the 5 such benefits. 1. The first benefit is the means of resting at ease in the present. Ditta Dhamma Sukha Vihara. This is a benefit of attainment of concentration, appana, of jhana, experienced by the arihats, arihanta, who have completed all necessary tasks for liberation and who do not need to use jhana for achieving specific states of realization. Here, the commentary cites Gautama Buddha's words. These jhanas are called pleasant abidings here and now in these noble ones' discipline. The second benefit is a basis or approximate cause, patatana, for insight. This benefit of attainment concentration, or even at the axis concentration, but this degree of concentration is not exceptionally bright or spacious. It is experienced by the person in training. and by the ordinary people. Here, the commentary cite the Buddha's teaching again. Bhikkhus develop concentration. A bhikkhu, a monk who is concentrated, understand things as they really are. The third benefit is a basis or approximate cause of the higher psychic attainments, abhinya. This benefit of attainment is concentration experienced by a person who has attained the 8 concentration attainments, sammā-samādhi. Such a person can generate higher psychic attainments as desired. Here the commentaries cite the Buddha's words again. The mind is palpable, wieldy. When he inclines his mind towards the realization of whichever things there are to be realized through direct knowledge, he attains the ability to witness these things, there being a suitable biases. The fourth benefit is an ability to reach exceptional planes of existence. A person is born in the fortunate and lofty realms of existence. This is the benefit attainment concentration experienced by an unawakened person who has attained and not fallen away from jhana. Not fallen away. So that means they could hold that state. So they enter that state of concentration and they could sustain it without it falling away or leaving that state. Such a person is reborn into the Brahma realm. Here the commentaries cite the Gautama Buddha's words again. Having developed the first jhana to a limited degree, parita kusala, where a person is reborn, he joins the divine company of Brahma's retinue. Even access concentration can lead to the higher realms of the 6 sense spheres heavens. I'm going to put a note in here. According to the Brahma's retinue, it would be the mind of the ultimate. In context of Hinduism, the Atma is the soul. The Brahma is also the divine entity or the dwelling. The body would be the vehicle. In the context of Buddhism, we're talking about the mind and has nothing to do with the Atman, or they speak as the Brahman as the God world or the higher existence. So we could enter that state. And by doing so, it says a person is reborn into the Brahma company of retinues. So in those contexts, I might be wrong. The fifth benefit here is an ability to enter the attainment of cessation, nirodha samapatti. This is the merit of attainment concentration experienced by arihats or non-returners, anagamis, or arihats, non-returners, who has reached the 8th concentrative attainments. Such a person can experience bliss in the state free from perception, so free from sanya, free from vedana, for up to 7 days. Here the commentaries cite teachings in the Patisambhita Magga on knowledge connected with the attainment of sensation. So it's worthy to note that Satana Dharma is comprised of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. That's really noteworthy to understand that. So, because most of all these explanations they give in the Tipitikas and the commentaries of these conversations with Buddha, Gautama Buddha, is when they say Brahmin, all these Brahmins could either be a Hindu Brahmin or a Jain. The Jains are a different sects, but this is all in the same time periods. And it's also good and noteworthy. During this time, every single person was very educated from a high class society, from their families were wealthy, and so forth. So that's also great and worthy to note. They're not people that are uneducated, poor, and suffering, and so forth. They had the means to live. 18.4, the last aspect of it. Preventing misunderstandings about the aims of benefits of concentration. An understanding of the benefits of objectives of concentration helps to prevent the dispel misunderstandings about the proper role of concentration in Theravada Buddhism. About the life of the monatistic community, the Bhikkhu Sangha. Such misunderstandings include the beliefs that meditation is a matter of retreat from the world and disregard for social affairs, or the ideas that life of a monk is one of total isolation, disregard from social responsibility. The following consideration must help to prevent such misunderstandings. Because concentration is simply but the means to an end. It is not the goal of Buddhist spiritual practice. Beginning practitioners may separate themselves from society in order to engage in a form of training for a special, limited period of time. But later they return to take an active role into society suitable to their circumstances. Moreover, the development of concentration generally does not require sitting immobile all day and night. There are many meditation techniques available to choose from. Gautama Buddha's teaching on the four foundations of mindfulness, Satipatthana, reveals how some people are able to realize Arihatship after practicing these factors for only 7 days. After this realization, the awakened individuals generally apply concentration for the benefit of dwelling at ease in the present. They can dedicate the larger remainder of their time to live according to the Gautama Buddha's original exhortations. Quote, Charata Binkave Charakam Bahu Jana Hitaya Bahu Jana Sukhaya Lokanukampaya. Translation: Bhikkhus wander forth for the welfare and happiness of the meaningful, for the compassionate and assistant for the world. Unquote. The way of practice for an individual monk depends on suitability, aptitude, personality traits, and interests. Some monks wish to live alone in the forest, as this is suitable for them. For others, it is inappropriate for them to live in the forest, even if they desire to do so. For example, which the Gautama Buddha did not give his permission to the particular monks to practice on their own in the forest. Even if a monk lived in the forest, the monastic discipline forbids a monk from cutting himself off entirely from social responsibilities in the manner of a rishi or a hermit. You see that? Rishi, Hindu, hermit, Jainism, or other ascetic practice. In the Buddha Dhamma, the desired benefit of concentration of the jhana states . The jhana states of the mind, remember the fine concentration meditations of Jormans and the four non-concentration meditations, either atinawa or asata, either the positive or the negative aspects of it, are considered supplementary or special. They are sometimes even undesirable in such case. Gautama Buddha did not condone these. For example, a person who cultivates concentration with the desires for psychic powers in Hinduism is called tapas. It is deemed as enabling wrong intention. Psychic powers can generate many ill effects and are subject to decline and are unable to lead to the realization of the goal of the Buddha Dhamma. Having said thus, someone who practices for the purpose of wisdom and who obtains psychic powers through the development of concentration is considered to possess exceptional abilities. In any case, even if a person develops concentration with the proper objective, as long as he or she has not yet realized the true goal, the acquisition of psychic powers will always be a danger. This is because these powers may cause infatuation and attachment, both for the person who has these powers and for others, and because they can lead to an increase of mental defilements, kalesas, and thus impede spiritual progress. Although Gautama Buddha possessed numerous psychic powers, he did not encourage the use of psychic powers because they are not the path of wisdom and deliverance. From Gautama Buddha's life story, we see that he used psychic powers in certain situations in order to subdue psychic powers or to subdue an attainment to such powers. Those individuals who have progressed in the path or who have reached a goal tend to use concentration on the level of jhana, or the means for abiding at ease in times of free from activity. Although Gautama Buddha traveled around teaching many people, interacting with many people on all levels of society, looked after a large monatistic community, the Bhikkhu Sangha, he possessed the attributes of Jaiki, or jhana sili. He was devoted to jhana. He was intent to abide in jhana instead of resting during his spare time. This is similarly the case for many of the Buddha's disciples. They use jhana to dwell at ease in the present moment so they could come to aditta dhamma sukha vihara. On one occasion, Gautama Buddha sought a place of solitude for 3 months in order to abide in the state of concentration. The ability to find jhanic happiness to the degree is a form of individual freedom. However, if interest in jhana leads to a neglect for communal responsibility, such conduct is blameworthy, even if the fascination is refined level of consciousness. According to the fundamental principles contained in the monastic discipline, the way of life for monks emphasizes the importance of communal responsibility. The prosperity or the decline of the monastic sangha hinges on the essential principle of communal responsibility. For Gautama Buddha and for those who practice correctly, concentration, sammā-samādhi, on the whole, assists in those activities aiming for the welfare of all beings. And this is the end of chapter 18.4, sammā-samādhi, part 3. Buddha Dhamma.